live with Dragon. All right, it's been a little bit of time. I think it's been 3 weeks since my last video. Last video was week 15. We are now in week 18, if my memory serves me correctly. And we're trying to do a one-take shot here because I have to get on the road to pick up the young king, my son, from daycare. So no time to waste, let's jump in. I would say, as you saw in the last video, we had almost turned the tide in terms of the back issue. And from an angle standpoint, even shooting this video, very rarely do you see me like leaning back in videos. Why am I never leaning back? It's because I'm trying to create basically the best posture possible to be able to film these videos where I'm not in pain. And I can say probably over the last 2 weeks that it has been the lowest amount of pain that I've experienced with this injury in a very, well, probably since before the injury even happened. So we'll kind of cut it off in chunks. I like to freestyle these videos a little bit just to provide context for everybody. Let's start with pain, okay? So pain and medication. Last video, we said that we were basically doing diclofenac and gabapentin every 8 hours or so, which was allowing me to sleep, allowing me to train, allowing me to do flexibility and mobility. I would say 2 weeks ago, I was able to stop all medication. So I'm super stoked on that. Obviously, medication is necessary, but is it something we want to do full stop? I've always kind of been one of those people that's like, I don't want to have to rely on something to be able to live my life. So that's why that being pulled out, and we're sticking to more, holistic medicine, CBD, fish oils, all that stuff is still in, but nothing from an anti-inflammatory standpoint. Does it have its place? Absolutely. So that's a good side. In terms of my training, right? What am I doing now? I'd love to say that I've just jumped fully back into squatting, deadlifting, and all that other fun stuff, but like all things, there's a progression that needs to take place. Step one is ultimately get pain-free. Are we 100% pain-free? I'd say most of the day, yes. We're right where we need to be. What am I doing in the gym? It's mostly mobility and a very little, tiny bit of hypertrophy. Nothing crazy, just something to stimulate the muscles. Obviously, I don't want to. I've lost a lot. I've lost probably 40 pounds of muscle and a bunch of other things, but I'm still. Flexing. Not bad. It's not terrible. About 230 right now. So I always know we're going to get all that muscle tissue back once the food increases. And I don't have an appetite unless I'm training. So now that mobility and training is more consistent at 6 days a week, I'm able to eat a lot more. 5 meals a day. And at my peak, when I was at my biggest, I was eating 6-7 meals a day on average. So ultimately, we're at the progression phase where, from mobility standpoint, everything is getting more difficult, which is good. Escalation in terms of making some things weighted, also I'm doing as well. Nagging type of sensations that I'm feeling right now. The only thing that's still lingering is my left leg, and when I'm going to extend it, I'm still blocked, not by my flexibility in my hamstring, I'm blocked by the nerve on the left side. It was been pinged for so long and so aggressively that it almost feels like it's frozen. So what I'm doing to mitigate that is I'm sitting back and I'm extending that leg, and once I get to the end point where my nerve is frozen, that's when I'm flexing my toe. And that flossing movement is what's creating more space, so that week over week I'm getting higher every single time with my leg. So maybe the first week was like this, flex, flex, flex. Next week here, flex, flex, flex. And then hopefully at the end I can fully extend it. Now when I can fully extend it, that's when I can start training leg extensions, which is one of my keys of improvement for when I get back on the stage. Massive quads, okay? Upper chest. Shoulders are pretty good last season, I'm not gonna lie. And just some cleanup stuff, that's it. Posing, things like that. So, all in all, the Dragon is very happy with his progress. Like I said, it's been a battle, 18 weeks now, to retain my form of glory. And ultimately for you, the viewer, if you're struggling, or if this is something that's been going on for months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, it's like I would highly, highly suggest a plan of action to get where you need to go, right? And if you don't want to research that, and it takes a lot of time to research all this stuff, to put that plan of action in place, get with somebody who you trust, right? Get with somebody who's been there. The worst thing I can't stand seeing is like someone's talking about, like a PT, for instance, is talking about getting through herniated disc at round 2. So much for the one take. I believe I left off with saying plan of action, working with somebody who is knowledgeable, but also somebody that has actually experienced what you're going through, right? What I was saying was it's very difficult to explain to somebody who's never had sciatic nerve pain what that feels like and how debilitating it truly is. And also, you know, when sometimes you work with a PT or sometimes a chiropractor and they're like, let's do 2 exercises. It's like, depending on what your structure was before the injury, right? 2 exercises is not going to cut it. We're looking for a stimulus that's obviously not going to flare, but we're looking for a routine that we can follow. And for used to training for an hour and a half a day, and even not including cardio, it's like that's such a big part of our lives. They need to factor that into the equation. If they don't listen to you, then that's when you need to make the educated decision to part ways with that person. So all in all, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. For those of you who are thinking like, will you be as good as you were beforehand? I'm still a firm believer. I've had my dark moments, especially going through this one. Good Lord, was it bad. Bad. Where I was like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be the same. Keep thinking, okay? Get those negative thoughts out, okay? There are people who beat this thing repeatedly. Not just like, oh shit, this happened, the next one's gonna kill me. It's like, I've had this issue 3 times now, okay? And each time I'm like, fuck, this might be the last one where I'm like totally screwed. When you get the confidence towards like the end, you see the light at the tunnel, you're like, okay, I can come back stronger. And ultimately fix probably what landed me in this position, which was shit mobility, you know, me getting to the size that I was and not remaining as flexible as I was, definitely was a big factor into where I landed myself. So the Dragon wishes you well. I will obviously continue to do updates. Now that I'm feeling a lot better, I might have some more confidence to actually bring a camera or a tripod or something into the gym and record some of the mobility stuff that I'm working on. Like I said, it's a 6-day, 7-day a week thing. If you're not working your ass off to get better, it's not gonna heal fast. So supplements, sleep, hydration, the proper nutritional intake, and obviously the fun part, which would be the training. So get those in place. If they're not in place and you need help, the Dragon is here to help as best as he can. All right? That's all for now. Dragon, aus.